No, you don't.
We're recording and you're saying we have full transmission?
Full transmission, and I hear the music is going to be coming
Oh,
up anytime soon. I'm so excited.
talk about the longest foreplay in history.
It's going to be worth it, though, man.
Wow, it's going to be an explosion of music.
Exactly. So I'm Melinda McKinsey.
I'm Tom Wise.
You're going to unpack some shit with us today. Today is Monday, and we normally have shows Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah.
And because of things that were going on with me, we did not have a Friday show. Tom was very flexible in working with me, and I just had some chaos. And so he very kindly did not give me a hard time.
Oh.
So Friday, Tom had a big moment because he did a comedy show on a boat.
Hey everybody, welcome to the boat.
So we got to hear about it. First of all, how are you feeling on this Monday about your show?
I'm doing great. I've already done a show already at Home Shopping. Did a light show this morning.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
I'm a madman, out of control. It's all fun. It's
You're
great.
out of control. I had a lovely conversation with a show this morning in Toledo, Ohio. And part of our script was about wearing masks. And I said, listen, before we go, I know what my script says, but it's from my company in New York. Is this accurate with where you're living? And she's like, well, actually. So I said, let's do let's talk about how your city's living their life. Because in Toledo, and I did have, the reason I ask is not only because I want things to be current, is because I did read a lower number of people in Ohio are getting shots. They just don't believe in it and they think it's a conspiracy. So I was curious, how she would, and she did say, she said, people aren't really wearing masks. I go, well, then that's what we're going to run with. We'll run with people not wearing masks because that's your reality. And there was no judgment on anybody's part. And we did the whole thing. But your show this morning was it a new product?
No, it's the old solar activated light. So that's a fun item. I love it because it's so,
Yes.
I love items that it's a very obvious transformation. Something's one way, 1 second later, it's something completely different. I mean, the thing is so bright. It's like, wow, even on TV with the iris correcting.
That's so good.
Yeah, it's fun.
Who was your host this morning?
Ty is really getting good.
Ty's one of the new guys.
Ty's becoming guy-like. He takes a little kernel of the presentation and he's finding out where the hot points are. That's
great. Well, very good. So we're chomping at the bit about your boat show. Please tell us, did you get seasick?
No, it's a relatively flat cruise, although it does have, you've got boats coming by you and they'll create a wave. So but it's a big boat. It's a little bit of motion back and forth.
Okay. And did anybody get super drunk?
It was from the beginning to the end was kind of a nice, very pleasant, uneventful experience, except for the laughing part. I mean, there was only the boat is only half full.
Okay.
So I 50 people up top.
Oh.
Maybe 35, 40, 50. I didn't really count it, but it was like 5 rows and there's probably 10 rows. So yeah, I bet 50 was a fair number. So that was great. And I was working with a couple of guys I've worked with, and one guy I worked with in the past, the other guy I've seen but never worked with. He, the MC. Anyway, it was the show. I was a little bit concerned about, doing it. So on Thursday night, I went out and I did a little open mic, which I hadn't been out in a long time.
Did you do material, Tom, or
I mostly did. Here's what the deal was. I gave myself a break. I was going to do a lot of new material. I said, just do this. Just do the jokes that work, that you've written them out. The crowd has never seen them. Yeah. And then if you want to work in a new joke or two, have at it.
There you go. There you go.
So that's pretty much how I did it. And anyway, it was funny because the first guy went up and he was doing well, but at some point it came off the rails, and he couldn't get a joke to end, and he kept on looking for another joke, joke, and the guy in the back's like,
oh,
wrap it up. So he kind of limped off a little bit. We've all been there. I've been there where it's just flat dead when you're done. It's like, and you're like, well. The good part about this is only lasted so many minutes.
Yeah. You do try to get that last little bit so you can leave on a higher note, though.
Walk off on a high note, a couple of swings. It was funny. I was telling Patrick, I said, one guy who was in the audience, he got up 8 minutes in and, and left. I go, where's he going? He's on a boat. he's got, he's got nowhere to go.
He wasn't feeling well, do you think?
Maybe that was it.
That's it. Or he's jealous. Some guys can't take other guys being the coolest guys in the room.
He was the comic was having a hard time.
Oh, I have learned, and I didn't know this because I enjoy going to, shows and watching, new acts. And of course, no one likes to see the comedian be uncomfortable. No one likes that. But here's what I did learn. And I think Lou Caputo was one of the people that told me this, which really surprised me. And the reason I mentioned his name is because I feel like Lou is a risk taker, but he told me he doesn't like to go to comedy shows because it makes him very uncomfortable.
Really? It's an interesting dynamic. I mean, it's a live performance. And it's funny, if people aren't into your jokes or they're not into your vibe or whatever, it could be a long night, especially if your vibe is a little, different, like an Andy Kaufman. He could hit or he could just drive people nuts, depending on how you take it.
No, I'm telling you, for my short-lived stand-up career, what I really tried to make my little spiel was, I don't know, you guys are better than me. I did that whole, like, you're smarter than me and better than me. And I would just tell ironic stories so no one would hate me, because I was very concerned that I would stand up and they go, who does this bitch think she is? And I would laugh about my sex life, and people love that.
Of course,
self-deprecating
humor is always a good idea. Ooh. So it went well for me. I started out with my alcoholic joke and moved in. So I did about 3 or 4 jokes in a row, and I could see that right away the audience they were looking to laugh. These guys wanted to laugh.
Could you see their faces?
Oh yeah, we're all standing there. We're on top of a boat.
Is that harder though? Because one of the great things about being on stage is you don't always see everybody.
So no, that wasn't even, we weren't even lit. It's 6 o'clock, 6:30 in the evening, and you're on a boat in the middle of, I think either we were in the Gulf or in Tampa Bay. So
is that harder, or do you like it more?
My big concern is that how's the acoustics going to be? Can they hear you? Because clearly, if they can't hear you, it's a shit show. But the speakers were big in the back, and they were blasting. I could hear me. They could hear me. Okay. So that was check the box. Although the boat did do a move while I was 3 minutes into my set, and it was like very loud and wavy and windy and all this other. But we just moved forward. But it was fun.
When you were done, did they invite you back, or how does it work?
I tell you, it was great. I mean, I ended it with my closer, a round of applause and laughing. So, and the guy that was running the place was very happy. He goes, "Oh yeah, you're coming back." And he goes, "There's another guy in here that wants us all do this somewhere else." So it was a win-win. The only joke that did not land was my new toothpaste joke.
Do I know that?
Toothpaste? It sounds like something you might need after a lifetime of not brushing your teeth.
Oh yeah, see, the dad thing is really deep on that. Did you play the dad humor the whole time?
Well, I told Patrick, I said, you know what? That joke came in out of nowhere, and if people are a little confused, I think if I did it after my asteroid hemorrhoid joke, it would work better.
Placement is everything, sir.
That's what she said.
So good. Well, I'm so glad to hear it. I know that you were a little concerned because you felt like you hadn't, prepared.
Yeah, because I've been thinking about it for 3 months. And then Thursday at noon, I decided to write the set. And then I was walking around and I said, you know what? The guy said 10 to 15. I did my jokes and I got to around 12 minutes. I go, we're going to be fine. I'll have enough material. And he said, don't go too long. I go, it's going to be 12 minutes.
Good. And how good did you sleep that night?
I sleep like a baby. I don't worry about any of this. Once I knew I had the 10 minutes done, I was very comfortable. And these are jokes that have worked for me in the past. So, and then I ran through the set 6, 7 times. It was an hour and a half drive down there, go a couple more times on the set. I got this. I did cheat a little bit. I had my card in my pocket. And what's hard about this is, I probably have 25 minutes worth of material.
Yeah.
All written. And I wanted to keep this pretty clean. As it's a boat. I don't want a bunch of this and a bunch of that. So it was mostly clean. The last joke has a little bit of sexual content, but it's minor.
Yeah.
So the order is always different. So about 3 minutes in, I had to reach in and check my card. Oh yeah, coming up next. And so I just didn't. So I knew what the next 3 jokes were. I think I checked it one more time, and then nobody cared. It was all fun.
No, it's better because I feel like I always have those moments I completely blank, like solid blank, nothing in my head, and it's the worst feeling because you have nowhere to go.
I've had that happen. I've had it happen while they're laughing, and I say, I don't know what I'm going to say next. I do not know what the next joke is. It's horrible. And then Patrick's band played on Saturday night, and I was asked to start the show with a couple of jokes.
What is his band called again? She said yes or something?
She said maybe.
She said maybe.
Yeah, they sounded great.
Good.
There was like 300 people there at
how fun for Patrick.
Yeah, and he played brilliantly. The band was tight. It all went well.
Very good. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Well, I know it's been a while since we've talked. I have a couple of different well, we do talk 3 days a week, and so when we miss a day and then we have the weekend, it's like, what's happening with Tom? What's going on? So today is tax day. Today was the deadline, and I don't know how you feel about it, for someone like me who's been at 1099 forever, I never really enjoyed tax day. This year, in all the years that I've done this, to show you how terrible I am with numbers, and you're going to cringe when I tell you this is the first year in my life that I started paying quarterly ahead for next year. I normally wait, even though I know I get fined and it's extra this and that, because I tell myself I'm living off of it. And every year I go, why, dear God, why? Because I have to pay, I have to pay. And so I'm so proud of myself for starting to pay ahead of time, but that doesn't help. Today is my payday. And I told my accountant, I was like, I'm not paying until the end of the day. Not that it changes a thing, but it's my idea of control. So,
right. I want to have a little bit of control, a little bit of passive aggressiveness, resistance.
Yeah. So have you already paid your taxes?
Yeah, I didn't have a very good year last year, but
okay,
it's all good.
All right. Well, it's a stressful day for a lot of people, right?
Oh yeah.
April 15th is the date that's seared in your head, and this year why they moved it to the 17th of May, I don't know how that made any fucking difference whatsoever. You tell me, how does that change a fucking thing?
It's like the government's pretending like it's giving you a little break. I had a nice year, but all my production, I haven't produced a cart in probably over a year.
Yeah.
Because of steel, tariffs, COVID, factories. I've been this factory number 4 I'm working on. I was in Vietnam. I was in China. I was in India. Right. I was back to Taiwan. It's like,
right.
I'm getting whiplash.
Yeah, no, I get it. But it's a stressful day for a lot of people because not only even people that get refunds, it's just the idea of the paperwork, right? The paperwork is irritating for people.
It's daunting.
I hope everybody can do what they can to get through it, because it's that impending doom that we create in our head, right? Of like, ew, double taxes. No, yeah. I had convinced myself, because I do live in a complete bubble, that somehow the IRS would continue what they did last year. They pushed it to October because nobody was working.
You couldn't have a meeting with your tax account.
But now, so anyway, happy tax day to everybody. I do have some dating stuff I want to talk about, and I want to talk about the travel restrictions and this interesting thing that's going on with bald eagles. What do you want to talk about today?
I just had one. I saw a guy who took the vow 3 weeks ago that he's off Facebook.
Oh, he made the announcement?
I'm done. You guys, I can't take it with the sheeple anymore. He's a Trumper, super Trumper.
Yeah.
But yet he continues to post. Now he posted a link to something one time.
Yeah.
Right. And then I clicked the link, And I said, yeah, 4,000 people have been who took the shot were dead, but that was 200,000 people or whatever the number was. I said, mathematically, 8,000 people die every day.
Right.
So and then if you look down in the article that you sent, they said none of those deaths were attributed to the shot. Right. So just continue to read down a little bit more. You'll find the answer to what you're looking or not looking for. So now he's not sending any more links. He just takes the screenshots of the crazy headlines and he posts that. So there'll be no more reading the article.
We don't need facts when we have catchy headlines. I think we all know that.
I mean, you know what the sweetest part is when they link to a satirical site. Like the Onion is pretty obvious, but there's some other ones that are. Yes. And even the tag is, these are articles to drive Republican idiots crazy. And I said, did you see this tag of this article that you posted saying that Nancy Pelosi's a witch?
Right. Right. Well, I guess we see what we want to see, right? And I try so hard, when I see something that has an opposing view to really pay attention to it, because I know it's so easy to get stuck into one side, right? And I've had people that have quit Facebook, and what I continue to tell people is, I enjoy Facebook. I feel like on my Facebook, for the most part, people are respectful, and I learn a lot. I just did a post last week about the shot, just asking people, tell me your experience. And everybody was thoughtful and mindful. And there was an array of, I had no reaction to Lori that worked at HSN, said after her first shot, she was in bed for 2 weeks, very sick, very worried about getting the second shot, but sharing in a way that's not like, well, you better do this or you better do that. So, right.
I mean, I guess Eric Clapton had a bad reaction to the shot.
Okay. Well, like really bad, or just?
He said his hands and his feet were, numb.
Okay. Well, my daughter, we had it on the same day, the first and the second. After the first shot, my daughter and her boyfriend, we had Pfizer. Our arms were sore, but nothing, sore, no big deal. After the second shot, we were all jacked, right? Like, let's do this. We're so excited. She got sick, but it's more like flu-like sick. But she said within 24 hours of the second shot, her chest felt like someone was pushing on it. And she was having a hard time breathing. And I said, do you want to go to the hospital? And she said, no, I know what it is. If I feel like it's dangerous, we'll go. But she said, I just feel like it's part of the process. She had some swelling in her lymph nodes. She's better now, but she had the worst Will had no response. And I had a fever for like a few hours. So we all were different, right? We all had responses. But it was interesting on Facebook to hear how people can behave. People, you don't have to be attacked. No one tried to sway anybody. Everybody shared their experiences. So for me, as long as I feel like I can have genuine conversations, I'm cool with Facebook. I feel like if you throw out a lot of shade, you're going to get some shade back.
What about now in New York? Is it masks off?
Today is what, the 17th? On the 19th is supposed to be our official pay, right? So in the neighborhood group on Facebook, people in my neighborhood here in Brooklyn are saying, hey, we're still going to wear masks for a little bit. We're still, figuring it out. But for the most part, in parks and outside, people are taking their masks off. But the difference we've spoken of before is in New York, it's virtually impossible to have any distance between you and other people. So most people are utilizing the masks till some more time goes by, if they're in a close proximity.
Well, it's going to be interesting. I don't know, but I'm going to see what Walmart and Costco and all those folks do now, especially since they've said in the White House, if you're vaccinated, you're free to just act and walk about inside, outside, all around the park.
Right. Someone had posted that Trader Joe's lifted the mask mandate.
Yeah. I mean, according to the government, as far as I read it, if you're vaccinated, you're free to walk about without a mask.
So then tell me, what about this? I feel like we're pretty responsible people. We had our shots, so we're free to unmask. What about the people that don't believe in the shots, that are still going about? You don't know. There's no way to know who had a shot and who doesn't. So how do you feel about that? People that are potential carriers. I don't think we'll die anymore because we've had the vaccine, right? But I'm a little concerned about it's an honor system. And I think if Americans have proven anything, we'll panic over toilet paper. So,
I mean, let's be honest. What's going to happen is the people who've had the vaccine aren't going to get sick. And the people who are, not vaccinated, and they're going to interact freely with people without masks, they're going to be spreading it amongst themselves.
do you think we'll hear those stories? Do you know what I mean?
It'll become just a number. I mean, you're going to watch the cases in your area go up. I suspect.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll track it. I track that thing online all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm going to guess there's going to be a bump in cases, and it's not going to be from people who've been vaccinated.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to hear. But I mean, psychologically, I definitely feel on the 27th, that's when I've got my 2 weeks. I definitely feel some hope and some excitement to at least feel like I've done what I can do. And then
we're not wishing harm on anybody. Hopefully it all works out well.
No, but here's the other thing, Jessica Nolan, who recently adopted, she said, I'm a new mom. I have a little baby. I can't take this baby anywhere because the baby isn't protected and you don't know who's had the shot. So she's like, I'm still in a quandary.
Sure. Absolutely.
There's a lot of that stuff going on too, right? Like everybody's still a little on edge because we don't really know. And if I had a young child, I would be concerned.
Yeah. What if you had a 3-year-old? I mean, there you go. Would you take her to Walmart?
I don't know.
That's a real serious question. I mean, all my kids are vaccinated, so my personal circle is safe, but I've got nieces and nephews that are just had a baby.
Right. So, we'll keep an eye on it, but I do have some dating questions because now people are we're having at it. So I always like to look for questions that I know that you're going to like to answer because you like questions. So I looked up this article, and it is not an ad. It's an article. So they're not selling anything. Advice for 2021 dating for men. Advice for men. I figured that I want to share some of this advice, and you tell me as a man, because I'm not a man. I have no idea how men feel about these things. And I remember when you and I did the What a Show. I don't even know how many years ago it was. It was like 10, 11 years ago, right? We did What a Show, and we did a quiz, or I did a quiz on how much I knew about men. And I think I got something like 17% out of 100. Like it was bad. It was bad. And I will say, I was raised in a house of girls. I had daughters. A lot of my friends are female. I have some male friends. I know dick about you guys. Like I don't understand you at all. So these fascinate me when there's advice for men, and then a man will tell me what he thinks, because it's like I've gone to a foreign land and people are telling me information that I could not have considered. So here is some advice for men, okay? It says, when you set up like a dating page, or when you sign on to a dating app, the only time you should be holding a fish is if you do it ironically.
I think so. There's so much heat guys get from fishing. Although I saw a chick in a bathing suit holding a fish on a website. It's like, oh yeah, there's not a guy that's going to complain about that. But you get a guy with a no shirt on holding a fish with sunglasses and a hat. You just shot the Pope. It's very upsetting.
It is upsetting. And I can't tell you if it's because we saw so much of it at the beginning.
I don't get it. I don't understand why that rubs women the wrong way. I mean, clearly you'd like a man that's in shape. You like a man that can provide. You like a man that has hobbies. Or you like a man that's athletic. You like a man that owns a boat. I mean, where's the disconnect on this thing?
I don't know if I can give you a logical answer.
But am I wrong about those things?
No, that's why I'm saying I cannot give you a logical answer, but I can give you my answer. When I first started dating, and there were so many men holding a fish, where I'm coming from and how I'm looking for a partner. Yes, I want a man that's in shape. Yes, I want a man that's involved in other activities. All those things, yes. However, when I see a photo of a man, especially if it's in a hat and glasses, because I feel like you're either hiding baldness or I can't see
sunnier than shit out on the boat.
I know. I'm not saying it's a logical answer. It's my answer. When I see a guy holding a fish, my first thought is, can you just put that down and just take a normal picture so I can see what you look like? That's what I think. Like, oh, good, you catch a fish. It's not that fucking hard to catch it. That's what I'm not saying it's good or right. That's my girl brain going, yeah, big fucking deal. I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
I'm saying
we don't like it.
It's illogical to be upset about that picture.
Well, and welcome to the game, sir.
I want to see a woman making a sandwich. Can we have a picture of that?
Like in our thong making a sandwich.
Please. That's a swipe right.
Well, anyway, they said if you do it ironically, which, that shows you're funny.
Of course, but I'm still saying if your checklist is employed, has a nice car, in shape, he's showing you all this stuff in a picture.
We're just not standing for it.
maybe does it mean hillbilly?
Well,
does it mean red state? Is there another signal that's being sent here?
I will say in my headspace, in the beginning of dating, when I saw that, my first thought was, you're either a rich guy that's showing off that you have a boat. And again, I'm not saying I'm right, but this is what I thought. Or you're a guy that has a lot of downtime and you just care about fishing. And that's not my world. Like, I just couldn't care less about it.
It's funny. I see a woman holding 2 little dogs. I'm out. I am out.
Yeah. Well, imagine my luck when really my big thing is a sock monkey. Like, no one wants to participate in that. That's ridiculous.
What is I'm sorry, you said sock pocket? What'd you say?
Because I always have this sock monkey. No one's impressed with that. No one thinks I want a piece of that. And I get it that it seems crazy, but I also don't care. And
of course, it's interesting how don't caring makes the whole thing's exhausting. It's like, okay, well, at some point someone's going to care. Otherwise, no one's going anywhere.
You're out. This is why dating is so hard. Okay, so we handled the fish thing. It says during the pandemic, this is for 2021, a really important point for men to date is do not try to talk your date into breaking their pandemic boundaries. So, right?
I concur. You want to sit 6 feet away. You want to wear a mask. I think absolutely. Heaven forbid something bad would happen.
But see, I really felt you would say that, but I will tell you, as someone who was, dating online, a lot of men will try to push your boundaries. Before the pandemic, I would tell a guy, look, let's meet at a coffee shop during the day. And he's like, oh, come on, I'm not a murderer. Ha, ha, ha. That's not funny to me because that's what a murderer would say. You know what I mean? Like, I get that the guy is like, hey, I'm not scary, but I don't know that yet. So,
yes.
So yes, I could see where you would say that. And I think that's a good sign. If you talk to a guy and he's like, oh, come on, then don't meet with the guy. All right. So here's another good one. Tell me if you ran into this with women, because I ran into this with men a lot. It says, do not ever try to be over ambivalent or too good for dating apps. Did you ever have women say that? Like, oh, these dating apps, like, it's so ridiculous. Did you ever have that?
Yeah, it's usually, it's interesting how if something comes off negative early, you're too good for this. It's like, you're too good for everything, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
You're on here. So you're on here. Why are you dissing it?
Right. But I mean, I definitely had men going, I never thought I'd meet him and I'm just doing it. It's like, well, then why are we talking?
Right. Yeah.
Let's not go I thought that was interesting. Tell me if you had this, and I wonder how aggressive men are with this because I haven't really been on apps in a while. It says never ask for someone's Snapchat or their phone number before they're ready. I guess a lot of people will jump to Snapchat because it's a way to stay in touch. Have you ever done that or had that happen to you where a lady's like, hey, let's just jump to this next?
Well, if a woman wants to move over the conversation to Snapchat or Instagram or whatever, it's just like all you want is you're trying to generate friends, or there's a financial scheme coming quickly. You want to get off the app so the administrator can't see what you're up to. So let me have your phone number. It's like, it's never anything good.
Yeah. Have you had that where a lady tried to, I feel like we talked about this, where a woman tried to invite you to something that was more of like a money thing or like a donating to a charity or something like
Yeah, many years ago.
that? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
But
I could see where people would use the dating apps as a resource, right?
well, it's okay. I'm going to take you from a dating app to a Snapchat to an Instagram to my OnlyFans page. There you go.
Oh,
Are,
wow.
are we all happy with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I
Okay.
mean, that you should be able to smell those schemes and scams a couple of miles away. It's like, what's wrong with this chatting here? Or or if you want to chat, why not give me your cell phone number rather than this
Right.
Snapchat, whatever. I mean,
Right.
you could always block anybody if the guy becomes weird. Done.
You can.
Yeah, it's not that hard of not that big of a deal.
When my first dating app was Match, right? And I can't tell you why, but that's where it was. And I got a lot of guys saying in their like little bio, I don't want to spend 6 weeks just chatting. And it threw me for a loop. So I ignored a lot of those people. I get where, yes, you want to meet someone in person, but it made me feel very defensive. Like, I need to talk to you before I meet you in person. Like, I'm not going to rush right to a date until I know if it's worth our time. So do you have a lot of that with women?
Yeah, I've seen, it's funny because when people say that in their posts, it's out of frustration, and
Uh-huh.
it's
Yeah.
also an indication to me that we're not going to be having a fresh start. The date means I've got to pay for other people's, other men's, rudeness or inconsiderations or not paying for dates or wanting to go to bed
Yes.
early. It's like you got to pump the brakes. You got to start every encounter has to start at zero, which is hard to do. We always come in with our own baggage, and you have an
Yeah.
experience of how things have gone in the past.
Yeah. No, that's a really good way at looking at it. Um, so it talks a lot about selfies and about how men take selfies. So tell me on your dating apps, what kind of photos do you show of you that you feel like, hey, this will show who I am? Because according to this, a lot of men take selfies in the bathroom where they're holding the phone. And I saw that too. And I was always quite confused about that because that shows me you have no friends. That is not how you want to, you seem like a sad, lonely loner kind of a guy. And that makes me nervous.
No, my pictures are action oriented.
There you go.
I'm
You have
on
like,
the boat with Pat behind me.
okay.
So, oh, there's two men here. Or, hey, at least he's got one friend, or, something. Then I've got like pictures of, I had one picture, like I'm hiking up on top of a mountain, maybe,
Yeah,
or
that's nice.
I'm doing stand up. That's always fun.
Uh-huh, that's a good one.
Maybe something with the horses in the background when I was living on the ranch.
See, that's nice. Did you ever, one of the things they talk about in here is it's okay if you do group photos, but don't have a million guys at like a wedding and don't have a bunch of girls around you showing that you have girls and then have like a woman next to you, but you blur her face out. Can I honestly tell you how many guys would post a picture of him with a lady and her face was blurred out?
This could be you. Play your cards right. This could be you in about
To
3
me,
months.
that screams lazy and inconsiderate. I would have no interest in meeting you.
And plus it also says you can't just go take a picture.
That's what I'm
You
saying.
can't set up a timer, take a picture. You look so good in this picture that you got it. This is the only one. It's like, all right, so yeah. Well, women do the same thing.
Well, I don't know because I don't know what the
I mean,
woman.
I'm just saying, I've looked at 7 pictures and every picture had 2 people in it, and I'm not Sherlock Holmes.
Okay.
And
Okay.
you change your hair color 3 times, so I don't know. So.
Do the women do the thing where they're with a bunch of other girls? Okay, that's interesting. I wouldn't do that because I would want them to focus on me.
I'm working on a joke about don't take a picture of you and your daughter.
Oh no, no, no,
No
no.
guy's thinking about, I wonder if I could help with her college fund.
No, I would never do that. But you know what men will do?
What?
They will share pictures of themselves with their young children, like, oh, look, I'm a dad. I no,
Well, I mean, it's an interesting thing. If I see a picture and a woman's got a 6-year-old, it's like, so that's part of the deal. I understand that. So that's an indication of, are you interested in joining the family? I also don't like to be admonished about, uh, my kids are first. Okay, we all understand that.
Yes.
I think you would be psychotic if your kids weren't first, but I
Yeah.
don't care to come in, as number 5 in the family
Right.
after the dog.
Right. No, that's really good. No, that's really good. Have you seen this? Or I don't think you would do this, where you put in your bio, swipe left if you ...
Hate Trump.
Yeah.
Let's just say put it out there.
I mean, I saw it done a lot on both sides.
Yeah,
By the way.
I'm more of the art of the being more subtle.
Yeah.
So just pick up where I'm coming rather than me telling you what to, I know when my biggest thing is, I'm dropping truth bombs. I'll tell you like it says, hey,
Hey,
I wonder why you're not married anymore.
no,
Home of
that's
the truth
really true.
bomb.
And then I'll wrap it up because honestly, there were like 21 of these, and I just wanted to like hit on some of them. It says, show photos of yourself, no landscape photos. I saw a lot where guys would go, here's a sunset, here's the beach. What does that have to do with anything?
It's on both sides do the same thing.
Really?
If the first 3 pictures are the dog, the beach, and a flower, my thought is, how hideous does this person look that she can't put a picture of herself?
You wouldn't do that on a resume for work. Why would you do that for someone that you want to date? It makes no sense.
Yeah, it's sad. There's sadness to that. I mean, it's like, really.
Again, it's,
Huh?
I was gonna say, it's the thinking of you. Once you get to know me, you'll love me.
Yeah. Well, there's always that unfairness. You've seen people on Match, this, that don't have pictures, right? It's like, I need to be in the background. Well, if everybody that was in the background, there wouldn't be an app.
Yeah.
So come playing the game the way everyone needs to play the game. You're not that special.
So what do you think now that, mandates are being lifted? Do you think there'll be more or less activity? Because I'm wondering now, Tom, are people going to be more anxious to go out in the world and kind of see what it's like?
Oh, I think that things are going to crank up. I'm calling. We're ready to play.
Yeah.
I'll be having a brunch out here. I'll feel like going to a bar, see what's going up. I can't see where, you'll be going back to theaters soon. I mean, I feel badly for people that haven't had the vaccine. They're susceptible to more trouble. And if in retrospect, Johnson & Johnson was probably the poor choice for me to get that, just out of being lazy. Didn't want to go back twice, because I also found out that of the vaccines, Johnson & Johnson generally, I still may be transmitting a low volume of the virus if I had it.
Okay.
Whereas
do you think that'll be a dating question? Which vaccine?
No, but just another thing that maybe I wouldn't want to have. I think they're saying the other vaccines almost no transmission. You're not transmitting anything.
Okay. I didn't know that.
So I might kill a Trumper by accident. Am I smiling?
I mean, we're still learning so much. We don't know. We'll find out down the road. Everybody, I feel like for the most part, people are doing their best. Not everybody's doing their best here because people are caught up in conspiracy theories, but I can't do anything about that. I can't control other people. So
it's funny, way back when, I don't want to call myself Nostradamus or anything, but back when they announced the vaccine in November, December, I did the math. I said, I'll be getting my shot in April. I'll be playing basketball, right? I'll be playing basketball before the end of April. And I said, I'll be taking my mask off by the end of May. And that'll be it. Everybody's going to want if you're vaccinated, you're vaccinated. If you're not, God, you'll need your God to be with you.
Yeah. I remember you saying that. I mean, we'll see. I'm excited to see the positive aspects of this and how people are going to move forward and how dating proceeds. We're going to be reading a lot about it because this new world that we're in is all
Yeah.
about how do we adjust now.
Yeah. You know what? As an aside, I hope that the United States just goes crazy and just starts spreading this vaccine amongst the rest of the planet. I mean, it's horrible what's happening in India. And, you know, I mean, that's what we should be doing. We should be getting over there and just trying to do 4 million people a day.
Well, I would like to believe that we're going to step up and do the right thing. We will see, because it's so far beyond my reach of, the
That's
power
just
that I have, but I hope so. I hope so. So did you say you had a funny little bit for us during when we first started talking about the show today? I thought you said you had this one funny bit you wanted to share. I probably just made that up in my head, because I remember thinking after I talk about the dating thing, Tom has a funny bit that he wants to
I did my villages joke again to great response.
tell me.
Remember, we were out with Christy, and she mentioned we were having brunch. This is, gosh, it's got to be 2 years ago. We were having brunch over at downtown Dunedin.
Okay.
And she was talking about the villages.
Okay.
And that's the retirement home, a little south, a little bit east of Tampa.
Right.
And she said they're having, the Tampa Tribune had just done an article about them. And they said, these folks are having sex like crazy. There was an STD problem there. They're having so much sex. But I don't talk about them in the joke. I said, hey, did you read that article? Blah, blah, blah. I said, the women indicate that they're interested in having sex by wearing gold shoes. I said, you know how the men indicate? They don't wear any pants.
I do remember that. I do remember that.
That was worth a couple of laughs yesterday or Friday, Saturday night.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure that it was. Well, have you heard, because of the changes, because people were indoors longer than they ever have been since, I don't know how long, since my lifetime, wildlife has picked up, right? Mm-hmm. Wildlife has grown in ways that it hasn't had an opportunity to grow. So the recent thing that I read about are bald eagles. Have you heard what's going on with the bald eagles?
I have not. Oh, by the way, my friend Jay had a 6-foot alligator at his front door a week ago. I mean, at the front door.
Talk about this, because Florida, people don't understand that don't live in Florida, how this happens. You see stories in Florida all the time. What happened? Did he hear it? Because they make dinosaur scary noises.
Yeah, I don't know how I think he was ready to go outside to go get the paper or something, and he's heard scratching or something. He looked outside. There's a gator, 6-foot gator on his porch.
What did he do?
Well, they ended up, the long and the short of it is they ended up calling a trapper, and they take the animal out, as it must have been fed by a neighbor.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing. When we would have guests, we had an alligator, we lived on a pond, so it would come up and sun itself with its mouth open. That's what they do, right?
I'm happy with that.
It's fascinating to look at alligators, but people think it's cute to feed them. And even though you have signs, it's like this common sense thing doesn't sink in with everybody. Once an alligator realizes that's a source of food, then it's
absolutely.
And then the alligator has to be killed.
Absolutely. My ex had an idiot neighbor feeding deer. You know what? We like the deer in the woods, not running through the streets and, hitting, knocking into cars and knocking people down. No. You think it'd be nice. Oh, come up to the deer and you'd pet the deer like it's a big old dog. It'd be fun for 5 minutes. Then the deer are just all over the place.
You fuck the deer up.
I mean, they carry disease. That's how I got the line from a deer tick.
Yeah, that's true. Well, with the bald eagles, because, people have been indoors and nature's really thriving, and, bald eagles they eat big prey. They like dogs. So here's what they're saying about, in 2019, the population was really down because of whatever was happening in the world, like industrial stuff. Now their population has quadrupled because of things that are going on. And they said, now here's the problem with bald eagles. They're aggressive. They're very distinctive looking. They've got that big white head, right? Do you know how wide their wingspan is? How many feet?
6.5 feet.
8.
Stop lying.
Think about that, Tom. 8 feet. That would be horrifying.
This
right?
is six.
That
This is
flying-
6.5 feet.
You see that flying in. So there was a company that was making vests for dogs to stop coyotes from getting them. It's like a vest with like little things sticking out, right, to stop them. So now they're creating vests for dogs because a bald eagle can pick up and carry away a 12-pound salmon. So they're very strong. So if you have a small dog, they can.
No doubt about it. I saw a bald eagle when I lived out the ranch. Saw a bald eagle swoop down and grab a possum. Clearly, it could grab it, and I've seen red-tailed hawks grab chickens. I mean, they're busy eating.
Well, so I took a picture of this because I thought it was fascinating. So you tell me, I don't know how vests work, but they're saying that this. I know people on iTunes can't hear it. It's spiky vest. See, there's a bunch of spikes. They said if you have colorful spikes sticking out, that it will let the eagle know that it can't grab
like a porcupine or something.
Like a porcupine. I don't know if I would put that on my dog, but also I don't want my dog to be carried away.
I love the look in that dog's face.
I know the dog is like, can I just stay inside? Why do I have to wear the anti-eagle vest?
Why am I being bait?
So they're saying in British Columbia, they're having a real problem with them since the pandemic, that they're killing lambs and chickens and, because they're just out and about. But I thought it was interesting that the company that was making their money making vests to stop coyotes is now making a killing, making vests. So if you are one of those people that are worried about eagles stealing your dog, look up this company.
Or your cat.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not the kind of person that lets my cats outside. I believe that it's dirty, number one, and it's not safe for the cats to go in and out. They're either an indoor or an outdoor cat, and it's horrifying. But they were saying also in the national parks, the wildlife has had all this time to be more aggressive, right? To come out more and to not have people around. And so they've had some instances in Yellowstone because now people are showing up in droves. They've got all this downtime. People are buying campers and doing things they've never done before, that there are more signs of aggression because not only because us humans are coming up, because humans are stupid and people are trying to pet
They think the world is Disney World.
They do. People were taking a video of a woman who was trying to pet a bison.
That thing's the size of a truck.
First of all, if I see someone going to pet a bison, I feel like they're too far gone for me to try to explain the logic of how they're going to die.
I mean, the bison just like a moose. Moose and hippopotamuses, they kill people all the time.
Yes. My friends have a cabin in Idaho, and they were telling us when we went up there, we have to be really careful. If you see a moose, they're very aggressive and they'll charge you, which I had never considered because who thinks about what moose worry about? But they will, they're aggressive.
And they're huge.
They're huge.
They're 9 feet tall, 12 feet tall.
Dinosaur kind of a thing. Yeah. So I think it's interesting. So for people that are considering camping and trying out this new lifestyle because they want to be outside, what are you pointing at?
I'm feeding my brother.
It's now time for Torso Man to bring the vegetarian dish.
Come on, lead down so they can see you. Here's Mr. Handsome.
You still have your nice clean face. Very good, Patrick.
No, I'm regrowing.
I have to know how to join your fan page. I hear you're quite the musician and your band is taking off and you're very much in need. And so I need to know how to sign up to be your #1 fan.
Oh my gosh. Well, you can get on are you familiar with Facebook?
Are you familiar with the Facebook?
The Facebook. I've heard of the Facebook.
So become a fan. The name of the page is She Said Maybe. That's the name of the band.
Okay. Where did that come from?
There was a big process. We had spreadsheets, we had scattergraphs.
Yeah, you did.
We had votes. There were a lot of gnashing of teeth. So
when you date, do you use a scattergraph or is that just in business related situations?
Please, it's all punch cards and surveys. He's not an animal.
So
All right.
It's all good.
We're
Thank
about to
you.
wrap it up.
Yeah.
This
yeah,
was
thanks-
delicious.
Thanks for the
Yes.
plug.
I get both these?
Yes.
Wow.
See you,
So-
Melinda.
Hey, that's all the time we have for our show.
All right. Well, everybody go to Facebook and find She Said Maybe, and you can follow them and see their live show and get an autograph or maybe even a photo with Patrick, which is very exciting.
Hey, Paula came by and I put a picture of Paula and Don in with our posting today.
That's very exciting. Well, good. So good luck paying your taxes. Hopefully everybody's having a great Monday. We will see everybody on Wednesday. I'm Melinda McKinsey.
I'm Tom Wise.
You've been unpacking some shit with us today.
See you on Wednesday. See you when I get glasses.